Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to your first group stage match of Group D for DreamHack Winter 2012. Today is day 2 of 3. Today is probably the best day of Dota. So many matches. We get 2 group stages, so we get a taste of, you know, the single match play, the play into the playoffs kind of style. Then we get the real fun stuff. The real fun begins later today when the quarterfinals kick off. 3 more group stage matches to go on this stream, and then we will be moving into the quarterfinals. That should be an absolute treat, an absolute blast to cast for you guys. Our first match of the day. Well, actually, let's talk about, or of the group. Let's actually talk about what we're doing with this group. I am casting, well, all of SkyHigh's games. They are the BYOC team. They're going to be the underdog in this group. We'll be following their path through. First, they play Dignitas. I know Pulse, and I think it's Fnatic EU next, and finally they finish off with Pulse. So SkyHigh, the team that we'll be following the whole way through. If you're not familiar with them, from what I understand, they're a bit of a mix. It's basically Matrim plus 4, and from what I've been told, Matrim is actually playing a farming role. He's not playing that support we've become accustomed to seeing from him. He is playing more of a high position player. I think he's a 1 or 2. I'm not actually positive about that. This draft, Dignitas, they opened it up, banning out the Meg, the TA. They were angling for a Batrider first pick for themselves. They don't get it because SkyHigh, or SkyHighj, which I guess is Swedish for SkyHigh, not sure. Sure, someone in the chat can let me know. They're angling for that early first pick Batrider, but of course it was banned by SkyHigh, so they turn towards the next best thing, which is going to be an Undying Wisp CK. Great lineup from them. Very aggressive. The Undying pick really solidifies. I feel like if you want to go for the Wisp, this is what you want to do. You get the Undying, you get this really powerful laning support, very tanky, very durable. Can be played as a farmer if they'd like to. Can also be a support, and just makes it a much more dangerous to initiate on a hero like Undying. SkyHigh, on the other hand, pick 3 heroes with 0 stuns. This is potentially a concern, especially against Wisp CK. They do have a lot of mobility. They have some good long-range spam with the Keeper of the Light. I feel they're quite vulnerable to these ganks, and I expect to see right now Team Dignitas ban out any sort of counter initiation. Heroes like Tidehunter, Beastmaster. That's really what you want to get rid of the pool. If you remove heroes like that, you force them, maybe even a Jakiro, just because they do have room for that secondary support, and we all know Keeper of the Light plus Jakiro equals towers that live forever. For anyone who's wondering, my casting style may seem a little different to y'all today. It is because it's a very long day of Dota. Unlike the boys on the live stream, unfortunately, I don't have any co-casters, and my voice, well, I wouldn't say it's in shambles, but I've been on the verge of feeling like I'm going to do a bit of damage. So you won't hear much yelling, you won't hear much screaming. You'll just hear me kind of casting the games, hopefully a little more analysis this time around, but a little less excitement. Of course, you should be watching the other stream as well, twitch.tv/DreamHackDota. So many great matches there. Dignitas, Pulse, and Fnatic EU. You're going to get to see every single one of those 3 teams, every possible matchup between those 3 over on the mainstream. Really, with SkyHigh, the interesting question is, can they be a spoiler? Is it possible they can take a game off of any of these teams? I feel it's unlikely they'll advance without having watched them, but they do have a tiny bit of potential to do so, I suppose. But, you know, with a couple of unknown players and some very strong teams, to me, this group is not only potentially the most talented across the board, across all 4 teams, but also potentially the deepest as well. I mean, not only do you have quite a few known teams, you also have teams that have been doing well in recent months. Pulse, we've seen them take down some beasts. I think we saw them defeat Empire. Was it back in Raid Call? Maybe it was a Raid Call. Maybe it was Star Ladder, a group stage match, something along those lines. But they've beaten some top teams in EU. I know they've given Na'Vi a run for their money. And there is lots of counter initiation on the sides of SkyHigh. Instead, it seems like Dignitas just worried about, well, the melee counters, the tower diving counters, but they're more worried about the carry side of the spectrum, not as concerned about the counter-initiating heroes like Beastmaster, but more the Void, the Night Stalker, the Naga Siren. These are your heroes that will get the farm, but serve that same role of preventing aggression, discouraging it. And also here's the combo beautifully with Keeper of the Light in lane. But look, even as far as carries go, these are all lockdown carries. These are all disablers with the Chronosphere, the Silence, the Void, and the Net, of course. So still along that same vein, and it's something which, what's left for SkyHigh? That's the question right now. Who can they find to fill those shoes? And I'm going to take a moment here and think about that. Twin-Headed Dragon might be the big one, but he is a bit squishy. And also Dignitas could pick him up first if they want. So what are we looking at as far as our hero assignments this game? I believe it's been Aoi 2000 actually playing the Chaos Knight. Personally, I'm a huge fan of his Lone Druid. I love the way he plays that hero, but looks like an Aoi 2000 Chaos Knight. Tides of Time Wisp, most likely. As far as the Undying, Tides of Time has played that. Bulba was playing it for them when he stood in. I know Snake King's played it occasionally. So really, they have a couple of players that could handle either of these roles. I think Wisp is one of these supports where you generally have a dedicated player who does it. So probably Tides of Time Wisp, Undying, to go to Snake King. Maybe just it could be a tri-lane of sorts with those two, +1, plus the Chaos Knight. It's not really that strong, though, so we may just see an off-lane Undying, which they have done before, and a tri-lane Wisp, CK +1. Windrunner, this could be our solo mid. Whoa. So this is a pretty interesting lineup for Dignitas. Dare I say it, if they really wanted to, I think they could even try to be a little bit bold and greedy and run that Wisp solo mid. It is Queen of Pain, but we saw yesterday that if you really play the Wisp to maximum potential, you play really well in lane. You can, just by outskilling your opponent, actually make it work. And then you have a Wisp who's got a lot of levels, a lot of farm, and that makes her a much more difficult target to bring down in the mid game. And if they wanted to do that, they have Undying who can solo. They have a great tri-lane with Windrunner, Chaos Knight, and Twin-Headed Dragon. But we'll find out exactly what they're about to do as this game gets underway. So it's time for our first Group D match of the day. Snake King on the Undying. Looks like he'll be headed down to that off lane. Stout should have picked up. Might just be that Suicide Lane solo we talked about. Way too sexy. The captain, the support. He's playing the Jakiro. Pretty much every support playing Jakiro nowadays. Fogged, who has been the solo mid player, he's going to be on the Windrunner. Is it possible they'll run dual lanes? Undying plus Twin-Headed Dragon. That's pretty potent. CK Wisp. A little bit weaker, but they know there's a Bounty Hunter, so this matchup works as well. They don't need 3 heroes there to deal with Bounty. 2 is fine. Wisp might take some harassment, but with Aoi 2000 on the Chaos Knight, our final player for Dignitas, they will be able to deal with the aggression. So I like this. They run the dual lane top. They're going to be able to deal with the Bounty Hunter. Maybe not kill him, but certainly get their farm, get the pulls going. Middle lane, they get the Windrunner versus Queen of Pain matchup. If anything, Windrunner will have the edge in lane control. Queen of Pain may have a slight edge in rune control. Just blink a bit better than Windrunner for securing the runes, but Windrunner has that better longer range attack and should be able to dish out a bit more damage. So it's a pretty even matchup. It's a matchup that if Fogged really plays well, he could actually win it. Then you've got your off lane, where it's a dual lane, but it's a Twin-Headed Dragon Undying dual lane, which is so strong. And if you just spam Decay on these supports, which you saw Decay was already picked up on Undying, they can win this lane too, or at least get a lot of experience. So this is... I really like this adjustment by Dignitas. I think it should work. And the Radiant tri-lane with Disruptor, they don't have that much lockdown. If this was Alina, if this was something a bit more aggressive, then they probably could get some early kills. They could maybe just burst down the Undying. But with Disruptor, a little bit more level dependent, not really a great hero killer. Especially when you have Keeper of the Light, who just does damage, doesn't have any kind of stun. So because of the composition of the tri-lane for Sky High, this is actually looking to be pretty good for Dignitas in all 3 lanes. On Sky High, we have PyLight playing at DreamHack, as his name says, and he's played the Disruptor. Smoke of Deceit already picked up, but they don't really have the best smoke ganking lineup. Good job dewarding, though. That will make things a little bit scarier for Dignitas in this off lane. D-Rocketman on the Keeper of the Light. Pretty badass name, I gotta say. Rocket Man. And Pep. Playing the... Is this Peppy? Might be Peppy. I know he's played with Matron before. I'm not sure if it's just another guy who's got a similar name, but he's playing this Ven. Over on mid lane, we do have Matron, as mentioned. He's not playing support. He's gonna strut his stuff as the solo mid for this team. Playing that Queen of Pain, rushing a bottle. Last but not least, we got Wish in a pretty cheeky little location of his own. Is using Tangos just to create a better hiding hole for himself. Keeper of the Light, the blast comes in. Snake King has gotten very over-aggressive. Well, Undying tri-lane is strong, but not when you try to post up at level 1 that far. You need to get a few more decay stacks. You need to make sure that a full duration Illuminate doesn't hit you. So, Sky High punishing a bit of a blunder, and now, well, can they get the counter initiation? Wish was trying to avoid walking through the tether stun. In the end, there's a Sentry Ward here. Is that 2? No, that's actually only 1, and now he's in a bit of trouble. He will go all the way back through the trees. Another Sentry Ward to be placed, and Wish is in a lot of trouble. He's got to tango all the way out of here. He will do so, eating 2 trees. Can he find a 3rd? Nope, can't. And now the 2-second stun, just barely in range of the Sentry. Oy, oy, oy. Tough. So they do strike back. The dual lane strikes top. Bounty Hunter having a bit of a tough time. You know, would have been a lot better off just sort of sitting back in the lane, but tried to play hide and seek, and Well, these guys have played hide and seek before. They're going to catch him out. They are going to punish that pick. Or that decision, rather. So basically, the way that this game is developing right now, Sven is going to get farm, but they're not going to be able to keep Undyne out of experience range. I think even with that kill, it's still going to be rather difficult for them, because you've always got Jakiro, as long as he sits back in this lane, hits Ice Path on a few heroes, until the Disruptor gets, say, level 3, 4, 5, probably 4 or 5, you can zone them a bit out of lane, but they really should be able to approach the creep wave. They're playing in the dark at the moment, a little bit worried, but as soon as this Keeper of the Light goes to pull, we'll see them enter the lane again. The one concern for Dignitas is they have a Windrunner mid who's strong at controlling the lane, but she's not going to be able to provide the kind of support that other solo mids will, like a Batrider, like a Queen of Pain. She can come and try to help. She's a good counter ganker. She's not really a great hero to just walk up to the lane and try and gank through the river. The runes can help her, but generally not as game-breaking as some of those other higher impact solo mids. So if they've struggled in this lane, the only bailout's really going to be from the CK Wisp. And speaking of them, CK already level 4. Our Wisp doing pretty well. He's level 2. Pretty even game so far. Gold, Graph tells the tale. Been up and down and all around, but only really 100 difference. Experience similar as well. Fogged out of mana for Windrun. Has to be careful. This could be a kill. Fogged has not used his bottle. Windrun is cooling down. Matrim didn't have Shadow Strike. If he'd waited just a second more, might have been able to go. Meanwhile, bottom lane on the Snake King, who gets caught inside of that kinetic field, dropping low. The Tombstone being focused down. He will fall. That early kill just making these next kills a little bit easier to find. And wow, that Tombstone dying real quickly. The offlane on dying Twin-Headed Dragon has the potential to work. But with the early kill being given up, and I have to say, just maybe not the best position from Dignitas. They are being punished. They do have the CK Wisp. And this combo around that 8-minute mark, once Wisp hits level 6, they can show up bottom, try and resuscitate that lane. The good news is these heroes are pretty powerful without items in a lot of levels. But you gotta wonder, maybe they're better off with the Twin-Headed Dragon leaving the lane. It looks like Way Too Sexy has that in mind. Because Undyne can just solo the offlane. He may not dominate the lane, but eventually it'll push, and he's a bit level dependent, but you'll get some levels, and especially with CK Wisp to bail you out later on, you'll be able to catch up. Wisp continued to check those runes, but Bounty Hunter ushering her away. Matrim gonna pick this top rune up. Is slightly behind the Windrunner in CS, but that's mostly just from checking the runes. It's kind of what you expect. So, of course, this is best out of 1. This is our first match on this stream of Group D for anyone just tuning in, wondering sort of where we are in the tournament right now. Who are the other two teams? Fnatic EU and Pulse playing off. So 2 of your sort of top 3 expected finishing teams playing in that first match. That's really going to set the tone for how this group develops. This is, I want to say this is a must-win for Dignitas. If they lose this match, sure, Sky High has some, spoiler, some Dark Horse potential with players like Matrim, and I didn't actually catch in the chat, but possibly Peppy as well. Not sure if anyone knows, but, you know, some more well-known teams, certainly having at least one veteran to call the shots makes a bit of difference. But for the most part, it is going to be Dignitas, Pulse, and Fnatic EU, who you expect to finish high up. Oh, Bounty Hunter. This could be bad. The Ice Path is going to hit. Now the orbs come in, but where is the follow-up? The follow-up's back here. Wowie 2000, unable to quite get in range. Went for the treads. I don't know if he bought this dust. Not telling me. But for the moment, Matrim just continue to farm mid. Both solo mids not really leaving the lane. Matrim disjoining that tower shot.
I steal from
Doesn't want to be anywhere low, because once you're low, then you start to trade blows with Windrunner. And she's already gonna have the slight edge there with the better attack animation, the better range. But once you're behind by a couple of auto attacks, at some point you have to back off, which means you take 3, 4, 5 hits of damage. So it might seem silly to blink away there. Actually quite smart. But on the top lane, it is going to be Wish who gets caught out. Ice Path, they bring him down. Easy kill. Offlane Bounty Hunter getting a bit of the DK treatment. This is something that we saw Burning and his squad do quite well in the G1 League. This, though, is a much bigger kill. Rotation in from Disruptor into the middle lane. Looks like all the spells were used. The Glimpse being leveled up early. Great way to counter Windrun. Windrunner runs away, then you glimpse her back into the kinetic field, and suddenly she can't dodge those auto attacks anymore. It's only a level 1 Windrun, only lasts for 2.75 seconds. Gold 500 lead for the Radiant. Nothing significant, but a decent lead. And remember, they have track gold on their side, so no Rubik to steal it back either. This is a lineup that if they get ahead and they start finding kills, they start trading, they're going to pull further and further ahead. Disruptor's about to hit 6. That is a potentially huge thing for this team as well. You look at this Dignitas lineup, they have Wisp, Chaos Knight, and the Undying. All 3 of these heroes pretty much have to be in the middle of the fight. So a well-placed kinetic field can just ruin them. The big thing would be killing off the Wisp right away. And something I've talked about in the past that on a Theorycraft level does work is for Disruptor to glimpse Wisp or to glimpse back the ally that she's tethered to when she relocates into the middle of a fight to try and set up a gank. Ideally, you want to relocate back, say, the Chaos Knight, and then the Wisp is left there. The squishy, easy kill. You can burst her down before she returns. On paper, if played correctly, it is a pretty potent counter. So, let's see, what have we missed in the other lanes? Sven just farming away. Farm Sven. It's a scary Sven, and remember, Dignitas don't have anything to block that BKB. They don't have... I mean, frankly, Sven's already a counter. Oh, here we go, bottom lane. Tombstone gets dropped. You don't want to dive in on Undying and Jakira. This will be punished thoroughly. No, glimpse back, but not enough. They do get the kill on that free farm Sven. He's still the lead farmer, but only... Actually, it works out pretty well for Aui, because... was he relocated there? Because how did he get bottom? I guess he must have been relocated. I think it's sent back.
Bottom tower is under attack.
And Wisp returns on her own. Sorry guys, it's a bit early for me. I haven't had my coffee. I'm trying to pace myself, so if I say some stupid things, cut me some slack, will you? It's gonna be a 14-hour cast day. Only slept for a few hours, and no second pair of eyes to back me up. But anyway, enough excuses. The point is, CK gets to continue farming top pretty much unchecked, so good stuff from him. And they get the kill in the end. Once Sven gets his BKB, though, this is trouble for Dignitas. A BKB Sven is a great way to counter Tombstone in the mid-game, also a great way to deal with Chaos Knight, and they don't have Aurora. They don't have a reverse polarity, which we have seen so many times over the course of this tournament, is just how that reverse polarity can absolutely turn the tides against a hero like Sven, but that won't be available to them this game. This is a game where that BKB on Sven, rushing it, I would like to see an actual rush, not what we saw earlier today, which was get the Ogre Club and go back for Mask of Madness. This is a much more even game. This is a game where they just need their Sven to be safe to be able to charge in the middle of the fight. I think if he goes for damage, he may live to regret it. Fog continuing to farm and try and control that middle lane. Is quite a bit ahead of Queen of Pain, actually. She's got to have something on the courier. Indeed she does. Treads and Bottle. That's where the difference in net worth is. So they are still pretty much neck and neck. CK and Sven both neck and neck as well. Remember, with Dignitas, there is this timing window. It doesn't have to be right now. Wisp is not even level 6, so there definitely was no relocate. I'm still confused about how his TP wasn't on cooldown and he got to bottom lane, but I guess he walked there. I don't know why I'm so caught up on that random little interaction, but yeah, there you go. Oh, yeah. I'm sure someone's flaming me in the chat right now. Right now. It's probably been about 2 minutes. But especially when you run CK Wisp as well, it's an okay late game combo, but this Wisp is not getting much farm. She's only got boots. She wasn't solo mid like we saw Dendi do the other day. They haven't been getting a bunch of kills. They don't have track gold on their side, so she's not going to get that fat, and eventually track onto her, the BKB Sven, he can just focus the Wisp down instantly. So you don't have the significantly stronger Chaos Knight, you just have a regular Chaos Knight, and being an illusion-based hero, Cleave as well as Warcry are going to counter you. Bottom lane, they go onto Snakebeat again. Ice Path will slow down the aggression, but not nearly enough. Peppy just slicing and dicing. Or Pep. And then onward and upwards. Look at how quickly... Oh man, there's the Queen of Pain ult turning this one around. Matrim is here. Good timing from him. They bring down another. Still Peppy lives. Fogs really wants this kill. Knows they got to get it. Power shot is not going to be done. Will hit the Stormbolt thrown in. Matrim wants to finish the job. Fog, shackle on Matrim. What a play from Fog. Double kill from him. 3 heroes now dead on the side of SH. And what could have been a fantastic fight is not. Bounty Hunter only level 5. This is the power of keeping him down early. In any other situation, he'd be level 6 right now. He would have come in. They get at least a couple track kills. It's a great trade for them. At least an even trade. Instead, well, they're pulling ahead, but frankly, it wasn't a good trade. You know, there's no two ways about that. Your Sven and your Queen of Pain die. That is not what you want to see. Crucially, Sven's BKB going to be delayed a little bit about that by that engagement. Tower will be denied bottom lane, so a little bit, even, sure it gives you a little gold, but even further stalling that BKB timing. Keeper of the Light being a total nuisance on the top lane. Illuminate splashes through. And this is a very underfarmed Undyne. Has gone for the Jack of all trades build. 2 points in Soul Rip, 2 in Decay, 3 in the Tombstone. Generally, you would see a Decay max, but with the way that lane, especially against the tri-lane, because you can steal strength from multiple years, but with the way the lane went, this is a smart adjustment. You know that you're not tanky enough. You didn't have to start where you can just spam Decay, dominate the lane. You're sort of reduced to being a utility support for the team in the mid-game team fights. That's the only contribution you really have. So by adjusting his build like so, maxing that Tombstone first, it ensures that he can do as much as he can. Here comes the relocate on the bottom lane. They don't want Sven to get that BKB. 2-second stun. No shackle just yet. Will it be enough though? The Disruptor glimpses back in. Owie inside. The shackle will latch, but not enough really. Disruptor, not the hero you want to be focusing. He's already used everything. Now the Wisp and the CK sent back towards top where they find a weighty bounty hunter. Might be able to pounce for a kill. Not level 6, so probably not going to go for it. Strut Snake King. There's a glimpse. There's a kinetic field momentarily. Glimpse to start, and... oh no, sorry, Glimpse on cooldown. That was the Thunderstrike that was available. Now Snake King dropping low, Illuminate to bring him down. That is a big kill, and that is the nuisance that is your support Keeper of the Light. So much burst damage. Just look, 400 possible damage per nuke, and can spam it all day long. Now is the Tranquil Boots. And with all those pulls they've been doing, this is going to be an early Force Staff and early mech. Another way to try and deal with the hero like CK. Sure, you're running faster, that's okay. I'll Force Staff my ally to safety. I'll Force Staff you into a bad position. Get you caught out, pick you off. Obviously the Wisp, very susceptible to that. Or just the mech for more armor and the heal. Dignitas reliant on burst damage. Because the Undyne's underfarmed, you can't rely on winning those longer engagements the way you normally could. You have to win these fights early and quickly. And that comes down to Owie getting very farmed. That's the build we see from him. He's not going for BKB, he's going for the maximum burst, the maximum sort of early to mid-game carry potential. They want to force fights before the Sven completes his BKB. Before they start to get the force staffs, the mechs up, and, well, he's going to have the armlet CKB not far off, and Peppy about to hit, keep on calling him Peppy, is about to hit level 11. He is about to have access to 150% bonus damage. That is a lot of freaking damage. Matrim gets shackled to a creep, but no initiation on him. BKB being rushed by him as well. With these mass BKBs, what did Dignitas do? It comes down to hitting a shackle before they use the BKB. It comes down to maybe a Chaos Bolt backstab or just to a well-timed tether stun after a relocate. It gets a lot easier to get those kills when these tier 1s are up, but because all the towers are still alive on the side of Sky High, it makes it a lot safer. Dignitas, when you pick heroes like Undyne, even Windrunner solo mid is it's more than anything, it's kind of a pushing hero mid. It's a hero that can give you some utility. Oh, top lane, and they go on the Chaos Knight. He will get one. Pylon die falls. Now the Sven. Big bad, angry. Scandinavian man of sorts. In comes the Ice Pet. Will it be enough? Illuminate. Oh, I don't even think it hit Owie. It looked like it did, but it didn't actually do any damage. A long-range Shuriken Toss. That'll bring him down. Now the counter gank, the counter initiation. But where is the chasing power of this team without Chaos Knight, without Wisp? They don't have any. Peppy says, okay, I would love to kill your Tombstone in 3 auto tags. And oh, by the way, cleave away at 6, 7, 8 zombies while I'm at it. Now Peppy is getting very close to his BKB. And Dignitas looking like they may have just been outplayed in this game because it feels like the window is closing. Once Sven has his BKB, what do? The Tombstone dies instantly. Chaos Knight can't stun him. You don't have a Scythe of Ice coming up soon or Windrunner. She didn't really dominate mid. She's slightly ahead of the Queen of Pain, but it wasn't an overwhelming performance. Mech's about to be completed on the Keeper of the Light. That's going to mitigate a lot of the physical damage. Really, everything that's happening in this game is dramatically favoring this squad. I mentioned that Sky High have the potential, this Matron plus 4 squad, to be a bit of a spoiler, and so far, they haven't quite accomplished it yet, but they're looking to be in good position to do it. Not only do they have probably the better late game, but they also have the Bounty Hunter, so even if they're just trading, they're coming out on top. Always something you have to worry about with that hero. In comes the relocate. This is what Dignitas need to do. Although it's only a Wisp relocate in. Where is the backup? Not on the best coordination here, but then comes the 2-second stun. Nice kinetic field, catching the Undyne, preventing him from really doing much. Queen of Pain comes in, looking to assassinate someone. Who can he actually kill off? It looks like the Wisp is, well, in the back lines now. I believe the relocate just ended. Matrim getting caught out, sort of forced away. They do pick off Bounty Hunter. Was that it? Sven died as well. Sven and Bounty Hunter both died. Buyback from the Bounty. Or from the Sven, which means no BKB, but they want to fight now. Tombstone is down for 30 seconds. Here comes an immediate backstab. Oh man, I really hope that this fight doesn't get too crazy. Kinetic field onto. Matron dropping low. Shackle onto. Even better. Oh boy, the shackles. And what a time to be fighting. This is 2 times in a row. They've now killed off the Sven. They might even fight Matron. Barely able to juke away and dodge that ice pet. That was real close. Sven went from having his BKB at the 17-18 minute mark, almost guaranteed, to now being maybe an 18 to 20 minute BKB. That buyback and subsequent death ruining the Sven right now. This is huge. And now the armlet up on Owie 2000 has the 3 illusions. Sven not quite at full capacity. He only has 1 point in Great Cleave. He is pretty survivable against the physical damage of Chaos Knight, but he's not really able to bring him down quickly. And if you don't kill those illusions fast, they're going to hurt you. The other thing he's lacking, lifesteal. Sure, he's got the BKB coming soon. Sure, he's got some armor. But Sven, to survive in these long team fights, he needs lifesteal. And that's another item he's got to farm. It's going to be even further delayed by the lack of BKB. So far, Dignitas really, you know, they saw that window closing and they just ripped it right back open. And now they've jammed some sort of steel reinforcement to keep it ajar. This is your Owie 2000 Dota. You know, I love Owie because he's got these very unique kind of builds. He really studies item builds to try to figure out what the most efficient way to do things is. And in he will go, going back for the Bracer and the Shackle to follow on to Maelstrom. Maelstrom. No. I think I was trying to say Maestro and Matron and came out with Maelstrom. Matron, the Maestro. It's kind of like Shao the director. I like it. But, yeah, Queen of Pain dying, getting picked off. No BKB for her. Both of these BKBs really being delayed. And now with the tier 1 down top, the safe area to farm has slowly decreased. And they go onto the Rocket Man. Rocket Man doesn't have the mech yet. Another huge item, and it's not going to be delivered. Dignitas, all of a sudden, it's like they can't miss an opening. Just everything coming so easily for them. They could probably relocate onto Disruptor any second now. They have the ult. They're not going to use it yet. They want to go maybe towards Roche. Bounty Hunter going to pick up a DD. Fog will spot this. And now they head towards Sven. Oh, Pep. Pep. This is a little bit bold, a little bit risky from him.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Dat Cleave, though. That 300 radius. So strong. Peppy's got to find safe, protected farm now. If you're on the map, you're getting Wisp relocate ganked. There's no 2 ways about it. So that's what we see him doing. Pulling the lane. Normally your hard carry would just be sitting in the lane farming. If he had BKB, he could be taking the dangerous farm. He could even be farming top by himself. If they gank him in BKBs, he TPs out. Because he died a few times, he still requires the dangerous farm, which means... or the safe farm, which means his team is forced to take the more dangerous farm. And Keeper of the Light, this is something where as soon as they see the Illuminate, they may just be able to Wisp relocate gank and kill him off. Although with Chaos Knight being on over in the lane and not near the Wisp, for the moment he'll be okay. Also getting Snake King closer to that mechanism. Haster about to be picked up by someone. I think they want to give this to the CK Matron. Thinking about a big play, thinking about stealing that haste, and not willing to risk it. Still Sven desperately trying to farm that BKB. Honestly, this is so important to get up now that I would just go sell my Stout Shield and buy it immediately. God forbid he dies again. Then it's 21, 22, 23 minute BKB. Owie's probably going to have his drum soon. Well, maybe not. Maybe he'll go back. This is something else he does, which a lot of players don't do, is he always maximizes his inventory slot. So on his Lone Druid, he'll buy just a casual Gloves of Haste, won't upgrade it, and just uses that to fill out the inventory space, making use of that resource. With this Bracer, normally you think drums, but in this case, it might just be a casual Bracer. And it's not a bad way to go about it. It's a good item. Sure, it delays your BKB a little bit, but gives you a lot of utility for that. Especially on a hero that benefits from having extra strength. Good news, though. They do have the BKB now on Pep at long last. There's still this concern if he doesn't get it off in time, because he doesn't have lifesteal. He may just die. If he had lifesteal, he could regen a lot of his HP back with God Strength, and he'd be not quite invulnerable, but very hard to kill. On the middle lane, Shrek on the Snake King. And this is an underfarmed Undying. This is an Undying who really struggled, and he's still not an easy kill for them. constantly these two tied at the hip. Well, does Wisp have hips? I guess not.
Dire's middle tower
Tides
is
has
under
gone for a
attack.
ton of regen. The one concern is he's a little bit squishy. They're going to relocate onto the middle lane. They immediately pull in one. They're going to bring Matrim down. A crucial way to start this fight. Bounty Hunter is here. Tracks to be thrown out. 100 here to start this fight. Where is the follow-up, though? These two supports getting caught off, trying to run away. Now the relocate, bringing them both back top. This could leave Sneyking a bit isolated. Actually, did he bring someone back to safety? No, they were pretty healthy. In comes Fog. He's hasted. In comes Sven. He's getting kited. Or maybe not. There's your Stormbolt. Where is the BKB? He will use it. Now the kinetic field holding them in place. Big Sven cleave. Manly Sven play. Will it be enough? Gets one. Wants some more. Nice armlet toggling to the back lines, though. It is too sexy. Way too sexy. Cleaning up. And now Aoi 2000 comes back in. They waited up for BKB. Without the Queen of Pain, there is just not enough burst damage. With Queen of Pain there, everybody dies. 3, 4 heroes. Easy burst damage. More than sufficient. Without it, not enough. And now Pylai die, the next casualty of Void, forced to deny himself to the neutrals. A smart adjustment since I don't think he had a TP. Yep, no TP for him, but still another death, still an unfortunate result. Every fight starts with Matrim dying. That's how it seems these fights are beginning. And until Sven, if he had gotten the BKB at 15, 16 minutes, he can probably just kill everyone there. But now Dignitas have their next items. The Reaver up now on the Chaos Knight. Even just the Bracer makes a big difference. Wisp just having the levels. And Sneyking getting a bunch of levels of his own. Not being an easy kill. Wait a second. Are they building 2 mechs? I guess just a casual Buckler. And then one will build a pipe. Buckler's pretty cost efficient in its own right, so not that unusual, but a little bit odd. Matrim's going to come in. They thought about doing Roche, but it's a bit early for that. As far as gold goes, it is starting to dip heavily towards Dignitas, and they are the team that's up against track kills. Scores 10 to 19, but they have a big advantage in kills, and they've started to catch up in towers now. The tower score even, 2 to 2. Dignitas lane ward place. That has to be spotted by Rocket Man. Anytime you see a support here, he's placing a lane ward. And in comes the backstab. Aoi 2000 will be glimpsed back to top, I believe. Well, he goes back there anyway. It's Wisp tethering in. Gonna bring Windrunner out of here. I think they're just gonna abandon this fight. Maybe not. They're tethered. They will go back. Now way too sexy. What the hell is going on at this point in the fight? Sneyking caught in no man's land. I'm not sure why why he stayed when the rest were bailing out when they were relocating. Wisp is gonna go back. Now Windrunner trying to hoof her way from that top lane all the way back towards bottom. Matrim trying to kill off way too sexy. He is able to TP away. Such a messy fight. Really messy for both teams, but they lose the Undying. Not the biggest deal in the world. Chaos Knight actually out-farming the Sven. This is something you don't normally see. And a decent number of the Sven's creeps are neutral creeps, which is why we see such a big discrepancy in overall farm. And again, this goes back to the fact they didn't have BKB. If he has a BKB, he takes the dangerous farm, he farms more aggressively in the lane. He knows that if they ever relocate onto him, he could just BKB and TP out. But without it, he's limited where he can go to farm, and that means Chaos Knight can just sit in lane, continue to get the items up. He's going to have a heart soon. And on paper, Sven is a counter to Chaos Knight, but that's assuming equal farm. Not assuming this kind of a lead. Not assuming an Aegis of the Immortal. And soon to be level 16 up on him.
Roshan has fallen to the dark.
Sneyking is going to go back for the pipe. The mech now complete and way too sexy. So it was just a casual Buckler in the end. This is the only thing they really lack right now is level 16 on Aoi. Aside from that, they've pretty much got everything they need. I suppose you could wait for the Scythe device. Honestly, Shiva's even wouldn't be bad against Sven. As weird as it sounds, it's just so damn good. It also helps just for the passive attack speed debuff in an AoE. Of course, it also helps to do with track and the chasing power. Dignitas has looked shaky to start this game, but they have really come back in a big way, and it is a lineup that was built for the mid game. Something we talked about was the Chaos Knight plus Wisp. If they can find the ganks, this team is right back in the game. But they had to do it, and it took them a while to find them, but now they found them. Now they're starting to apply a lot of pressure over the map. And if anybody tries to farm too aggressively, they can relocate, snipe a hero, retreat the rest back, and then continue the push. They are tethered up, and they will go on to Peppy. Peppy getting focused. Oh, this is bad. Pep, that is not where you want to be. BKB not available because he is shackled to a tree, and he will fall. Easy kill being claimed. Unstoppable for, of all heroes, Archikiro.
Radiant's bottom tower is under
Who's gone for
attack.
phase boots. They don't need the arcane boots, I suppose. Because they have the Wisp, who's basically a walking fountain for the entire team. Tether to someone, use your soul ring, give them some extra mana. And you can do the same in other ways as well with the bottle. In Aoi 2000 goes, he is still level 15, but still has 3 illusions, very beefy ones. Notice he turned the armlet on before he used Phantasm. All your illusions get that bonus strength. I believe they do. Actually, maybe he didn't, because they don't have the extra HP. Either way, though, he's still beefy. Rex will look to fall. Dignitas, all of us, you know, just... They really stormed back in this game, but SH, I also feel they really let it slip away from them. Some costly mistakes, the buyback for the Sven, not getting his BKB up. It has really hurt them here in the mid-game. You know, even if he just died but didn't buy back, he would have had the BKB sooner. He could have taken the more aggressive farm. His teammates could have had the safer farm. They might not have lost as many towers, and now it's just... it's not impossible to come back, but it is going to be tough to do so. Let's look at the Chaos Knight farm. Up to another 3k. It's going to man up. It's going to charge in. And the Tether Storm ready to keep it light. Just mauling away at him. Stormbolt actually only catching 1. Not nearly enough. Queen of Pain on 3 and 4 or 5 even. And what did it really accomplish? That was not exactly what they were hoping for. Normally, you toss your Queen of Pain ult out. It is like applying a high-pressure washer to a screen door. The screen door just actually explodes. Gets blasted inwards. But this is a high-pressure washer against a glass window on the part of Dignitas. They just shrug it off. It just rolls off them. And then they move on. So, that's not a good sign. When you Queen of Pain ult, even if it's only level 2, even if you don't have eggs, you want to see their HP bars drop. And they're just not flinching at all. And here we go, Shackle onto Matrim. Nope, Scythe of Ice actually not going to latch, but the Scythe of Ice is there. Fog being really manly here, might pay for it with his own life, but in comes an angry bounty hunter who just doesn't have any items. Now this mobile fountain's so strong. Meanwhile, bottom lane is getting pushed in pretty hard, and the Sentry Wards here ensuring that there aren't any lane wards, that they can be aggressive. Aoi 2000 pulling in Matrim. And that's the end of that engagement for the moment. Well, for the moment, Sky High just gonna have to stall this game. They've got to go ultra late now. Somehow they've got to force a mistake from Dignitas. They certainly have to wait out the Aegis of the Immortal. Aoi now gonna go for the Manta style, which is gonna give him, what, 6 horses for the next fight? 3 extras plus your main hero, that's 4, plus another 2, that's 6. I can do math, look at me, Mom. And, well, look at Aoi, he's huge. He is absolutely massive. He just has a good 2 minutes. This should be enough to get a full lane of racks. There is no glyph, there is really no way to turtle against this. 4 staff into the reality rift, now Peppy wants to fight, but I just don't know if it's enough. Even this underfarm Sven, though, look how damn strong he is. Aoi trying to pull in Rocket Man, doesn't want to focus the Sven. He might fall, but actually it doesn't look like it. Another tether stun. Mega kill from Aoi. Everyone drops low. Nobody dying just yet on the side of the Dire. Finally, the Wisp will fall. And with the buyback, Aoi still has Aegis. I think you just keep on pushing this. Oh, Queen of Pain all coming in. Nice armlet toggle there from Aoi. Toggling it off. Should be coming back on again any second. Oh, Shrink and Toss bring him down to 20 health. Still has the Aegis. Still, honestly, should just go kill himself to a tower. Make sure that you pop that Aegis. He can't die. He wants to... He wants to kill himself to the tower, and Bounty Hunter will oblige. Honestly, probably a mistake there. Wisp relocating in, though. Wish, gonna fall. The orbs bring him down. Spirit Bomb from the Wisp. Tides the time. Showcasing one of his more signature heroes. In comes Rocket Man, and out goes Rocket Man. Back to the fountain for you, sir. Shackle shot, not gonna latch. Doesn't matter. This horse is on a rampage. The GGs will come out. Matron +4 had some strong moments. Not going to be enough in their first group stage match. Dignitas will take this one. Looked shaky, though. I really don't feel they looked as strong as we would like to see from them. Not what we've seen. Certainly not quite as powerful as we've seen Dignitas put together some really sensational performances in Dota 2, even taking down teams like Na'Vi back in the defense too. They haven't played up to that level, but again, LAN is an environment where you get warmed up, you get comfortable with your seeding, with your team, being next to each other instead of talking to each other over Skype. It is something where you expect the teams to get more comfortable, get into a rhythm as the tournament progresses, but they are going to have to step their game up. I feel if they want to, certainly if they want to advance through the quarterfinals, but even to get there, they've got to play just a little bit more smoothly in the laning stage. Some mistakes made by them, still a nice comeback, some good resilience. It will be Dignitas taking this first group stage match. We are in Group D. We have 2 more group stage matches to follow. Then the real fun begins. That's where we get to the quarterfinals. For now, that's going to wrap it up for this particular game, for this particular cast. I'm LD. If you enjoy my casting, Facebook, Twitter, youtube.com/LDDota. Be sure to follow me. All of today's VODs will be up on YouTube eventually. We'll be on this Twitch channel shortly after. Thank you for watching Beyond the Summit. If you enjoy our cast, the best way to support us is to subscribe to the Twitch channel. Costs you $5 a month, removes all your ads, but more importantly, just helps us to do more production, to do things more than just these straightforward casts. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the broadcast. We'll be coming back relatively soon, and hopefully as the day goes later, people will be waking up. I will have some co-casters. My voice will thank me. And I'm sure that you guys will as well. Thanks for tuning in, guys. More matches from Sky High coming soon.